students, I hope you're having a good evening so far. So, want to let you guys know on a few things that is coming up in the student ministry. The first thing is that next week, I can't believe it, but next week we're gonna recognize one of our graduates. I want you guys to think about who that might be. And so we're going to recognize one of our graduates who's been really faithful and coming all the time, and I'm hoping to get a chance to talk with her. So you will not want to miss next Sunday, especially as we recognize some of our graduates here in Manor Woods. And so really love for you to be here for next Sunday online. Also, the next thing is May 31st, the following week, is we're not going to have a YouTube platform program, but instead we're going to do on that Sunday night at 6 o'clock, we're going to do Zoom games. We're going to do just Zoom games. I would love for you to be there. It's going to be a blast. I got a pretty good lineup for games, and it's just a great way to celebrate the end of the year for us in the best way that we can. And so the best way that we can right now is via online. And so you'll definitely not want to miss May 31st for our Zoom party, all right? We want to make sure we go all out on our Zoom party. So be there May 31st. Before I forget, though, next week there will be no Zoom on the Sunday night after this video, okay? Just so you know. Next thing is I want to let you know is Bible studies will continue to the end of May 31st. Or I should say the end of May, and then we'll go from there, and we'll get a game plan of what this summer looks like for us meeting together. And then finally, I want to let you know that CIY is canceled for you high school students. However, CIY has been able to put together some pretty cool material that they were going to present for us this summer, and they're giving it to us, and we want to be able to either do that online, or it may be in person at the church. And so I'm really hoping it's the latter part, or we can meet in person, because I think that'd be really epic. So I want to let you know there will be an event maybe for our middle school students and an event for our high school students concerning CIY. So I'm really pumped up about this, and I hope you are too. I know that we're bummed that we're not able to go to Salisbury this summer. However, I think this is the best thing that we can do with the certain circumstances that we've been given. So, all right, keep an eye out for that. More information is going to be coming your way here, hopefully in the next couple of weeks about that. With that being said, you know what time it is. It's game time. All right, guys, it is game time, and today we are looking at Mad Scientist Trivia, all right? Do you consider yourself a scientist? I loved science class when I was growing up. I love science. My best science project was a volcano. Yes, a volcano. It was pretty epic, man. That thing was like at least 3 or 4 feet high. I was pretty proud of it. It weighed a ton, though. Let me know what your best science project was when you were growing up. What is your best science project that you've ever done? Let me know in the Zoom section, or you can text me. I'd love to hear that. All right, here we go. Do you guys know your science trivia here? All right, in 1905, 11-year-old boy left a stirring stick in a soda on the porch overnight, and he invented what? A snow cone, the popsicle, an ice cube. What was it? In 1905, 11-year-old boy left a stirring stick in a soda, and what did he find? What did he invent? A snow cone, a popsicle, or an ice cube? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I hope you got this one right. It's a popsicle. You know, if you usually leave a stick in something, it most likely is going to be a popsicle, okay, in the freezer. Have you ever made those with toothpicks and you put them in the freezer tray and like you put like Kool-Aid or whatnot on it? Oh, those are so good. Yes. All right. Next question. A naval engineer got the idea for this invention after accidentally dropping a spring to the ground. Is it a pogo stick, a trampoline, or a slinky? Ooh, this is a really good question here. Trick question maybe. All right, what do we think? You got your answer? All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and it is the Slinky. The Slinky. You guys probably don't have a bunch of Slinkies laying around the house, do you? But they were a big deal back in the day. Yeah, you put those things on the top of stairs, you watch it go. All right, next question. The helicopter, the tank, the parachute, and the double-hulled ship were all invented by Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, or Christopher Columbus? Well, I hope you guys don't think it's C. All right, because it's not C. I'm just gonna give you that. All right, it is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It is Da Vinci. All right, Da Vinci. Man, he was a smart guy. All right, next question. The Frisbee was invented after college kids started throwing a pie tin back and forth on an alleged UFO sighting in Roswell, New Mexico. 2 mechanics tossed a plastic wheel through the air. What do we think it is? A, B, or C? This is a tough one. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and it is A. College kids started throwing a pie pan back and forth. That sounds about right. All right, next question. An American botanist, George Washington Carver, invented more than 100 uses for A, the carrot, B, the peanut, or C, the walnut. I know this one. I knew this one. All right, we ready? Got your answer locked in? It is the peanut. It is the peanut. Carver was a peanut fanatic. All right. Number 6. Philo Farnsworth is known for inventing the first A, microwave oven, B, electronic television, or C, radio. This is a really tough one. Philo Farnsworth is known for inventing the first A, microwave oven, B, electronic television, or C, radio. And it is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, the TV. Man, TVs have come a long ways. All right, here we go. Attempting to create synthetic rubber during World War II, an employee at General Electric invented A, Kool-Aid, B, crazy glue, or C, silly putty. What do we think it is? You got your answer? It is silly putty. All right, this next question. If you're the first person to text me the right answer, you're gonna get a $5 Starbucks gift card. So make sure you got your phone ready for you. Text it in. First person that gets it right gets that card. All right, here we go. Next question. Invented in 1950, the first TV remote control was called the Magic Wand, the Lightning Rod, or C, the Lazy Bone. What do we think it is? Text your answer to me. Gonna get that card. And this might be, all right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It was the Lazy Bone. It makes sense in a way. All right. It would have fooled me though. I would have guessed it would have been like the Magic Wand or something like that. But the Lazy Bone, I get it now. All right, next question. This substance was originally invented to clean wallpaper until a teacher introduced it to her class. A, Play-Doh, B, rubber cement, or C, paper mache. What do we think? I love this stuff. It's so much fun. All right, it is A, Play-Doh. Play-Doh. Man, who doesn't love Play-Doh? All right, last question for tonight. Is a doctor who was working on a new headache medicine actually invented A, Dr. Pepper, B, Coca-Cola, or C, root beer? What do we think it is? An actual doctor who was working on a new headache medicine actually invented this. What do we think? All right. The obvious one is going to be A, I think. But we'll see. All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And it was Coca-Cola. And it's true. It's true. It's a great headache medicine. I think Coke Zero can solve a lot of the world's issues. I really do. All right. Oh, we have one more question. All right. This one's an easy one. Who invented this equation? E equals mc squared. Albert Einstein. All right. Good job, guys. Thanks for joining me for the game. Next is the dad joke.
Hey, Bryce, what's good, my dude? How you doing, man? Hey, you might be able to appreciate this story, man, being a dad and all. Has one of your girls ever just blurted out something that just made no sense or was just odd? Like the other day, I was sitting on the couch with the girls, chilling out, maxing, relaxing, all cool, and all shooting some b-ball outside of the school when a couple of guys who were up to no good started making trouble in my neighborhood. I got in one little fight. My mom got scared. She said, "You're moving with your auntie and uncle and Bell." My bad. Anyways, I was sitting on the couch with the girls, and out of the blue, one of the girls yells, "Dad, you haven't listened to a word I've said, have you?" And I'm all like, what a strange way to start a conversation with me. Very odd. Very odd. Anyways, time for today's dad joke. What is the least spoken language in the world? Sign language. Alright, one more joke. And I think I'm going to make this joke my catchphrase. So listen to it and tell me what you think. When does a joke become a dad joke? When it's apparent. When it's a parent. And that's one to grow on. Anyway, see you guys next week. Later.
So last week we talked about identity. And Saul found his identity from people. Jonathan was willing to let go of his identity in the eyes of people. And David shows what God can do through us when we believe we are who God says we are. So we talked about the symptoms of an identity crisis: anger, jealousy, paranoia, manipulation. These symptoms are things that show up in our lives when we no longer find our identity in Jesus. So for King Saul, these symptoms of an identity crisis took off full force in his life. So in 1 Samuel chapter 19, verses through 26, it tells us about how God did everything he could to kill David. David would respond graciously, and Saul would say, "Sorry," superficially, but would dive right back into his insecurity. So King Saul never allowed God to have his heart. Instead, he continued to find his identity and purpose in things that were guaranteed to shift. And as a result, Saul is losing his mind, and it all goes downhill from there. So have you ever seen the movie where in the end everybody dies? I remember watching the movie called Perfect Storm. And I remember there was a bunch of guys on a boat in the ocean, and a really big storm hits, and everyone died. I remember sitting and thinking, oh, they'll come back again. It's just an accident. They'll live. But they never did. Well, a similar sad ending is what takes place in the story of Saul. The prophet Samuel, who served as the voice of God to Saul, dies. And following Samuel's death, circumstances go down the drain for King Saul. And he responds in desperation by going to a medium, someone who interacts with dead people. And Saul asks the medium to bring Samuel up from the dead. Ironically, Saul didn't want to hear the voice of God through Samuel when he was alive, just now that Samuel's dead. So Samuel appears, and a faint, straggly, Yoda-like voice basically tells Saul, "Tomorrow you will die." Samuel tells Saul that both he and his sons will be killed in the battle the following day. 1 Samuel 28, verse 18. "Because you did not obey the Lord has done this to you today." King Saul spent his reign as king believing, I can do it my way. Sometimes the worst thing that can happen is that God actually gives us what we want. King Saul chooses his way, and ignoring the voice of God, and he got what he wanted, a life in which God no longer led him. So how do we obey the voice of God? Saul has taught us what not to do, but what do we do when it comes to striving to obey the voice of God in our daily life? Well, you need to be able to grow on your own, but you can't do it alone. We can break this into two parts. First, in order to obey the voice of God on a daily basis, we need to be able to grow on our own. Growing in your faith is an individual decision. Some are going off to college. Whether or not you grow in your faith is your choice. Your faith has been dependent on your church, youth group, school, club, parents, or grandparents. But none of these things are coming with you as you move on in your life. You need to make the decision if you want to grow in your faith as you listen to God's voice. You don't need to be scared about losing your faith or not being strong enough. In 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7, it says, "For God has not given us a spirit of fear and timidity, but of power and love and self-discipline." If you put your faith in Jesus, you are his child. His spirit permanently lives in you if you've been baptized in him. If you continue to strive to be submissive and obedient to his voice, God is going to use you in huge ways. Remember, the only prerequisite to God is to following him. That being said, your decision to grow in your faith is your personal decision. Only you can make that decision to dig into God's word. It's about quality rather than quantity with a submissive heart. It's not about how much or how little you read, it's whether you desire to hear God's voice and obey it. Your prayer life is also your personal choice. The Bible is when God talks to us. The prayer is when we talk to God. The Bible is very clear that prayer is incredibly powerful. It changes circumstances, and more than anything, it changes our heart. You and I are as close to God as we want to be because through his Holy Spirit, God is as close to us as he can be. We have to be able to grow on our own, and we will if we want to. However, we cannot follow Jesus alone. You realize you cannot grow alone. Nothing makes or breaks your character more than the company you keep. And even for Jesus, the people who knew him best and loved him the most were people who loved to listen and obey God's voice. Jesus spent so much time reaching out to all kinds of people, but at the end of the day, Jesus needed his inner circle to be people who also wanted to hear and obey God's voice in their lives. So if you are going to college soon, you need to find a community that will help you move forward in your faith. A local church, a ministry on campus, search for it, fight for it. And if your college doesn't have one, start one. For everyone else in middle school or high school, one of the best things you can do for your spiritual growth is to make student ministry a priority. If nothing makes or breaks your character more than the company you keep, commit yourself to surrounding yourself each week with people who also want to hear and obey the voice of God in their lives. Our relationship with God is about togetherness. The devil wants to isolate you, and he'd rather much fight you one-on-one than fight in a group. So in order to obey God's voice in our daily lives, we have to be able to grow on our own. And at the same time recognize, we can't live without our faith alone. Living out our faith should be done with enthusiasm, a sense of urgency, recognizing time is not always on our side. So we need to live with urgency. We are not promised tomorrow, so we need to make the most out of today. We need to live for what's important today, to grow and live our faith today. We need to commit to obeying God's voice today. Commit to using and discovering gifts God's given you. Talk to your classmates about how you can make an impact at your school today. Ask God to use your family today. Follow Jesus wholeheartedly today. Some people say students are the future of the church, but that's only half true. Students are not merely the future of the church, students are the church. And there is no age limit. Every moment matters for all of us because tomorrow is not promised to any of us. So let's grow in our faith and live out our faith, believing that every moment matters. So in this series, we learned what not to do from King Saul. However, we can live our relationship with God differently than King Saul. Remember the words of Samuel early in the story. 1 Samuel 12, verse 24. But be sure to fear the Lord and serve him faithfully with all your heart. Consider what great things he has done for you. We fear the Lord when we allow Jesus to be king of our hearts. We serve the Lord faithfully with all of our heart when we confess our need for him and baptized in him and commit to doing life Jesus' way than our way. Finally, we were going to continue to be motivated to make Jesus our king as we experience Jesus leading our lives in a way that only he can, and being grateful for the journey along the way. Thanks, guys, for joining me, and I hope to see you soon in Zoom.
What you do matters.
I made you with a purpose.
Your strength,
Your weakness.
your hopes,
Your dreams?
I placed them in you for my glory.
I've called you to make a difference.
Be my example.
Be my example.
At home, at school,
With friends,
And when no one is watching.
don't let anyone look down on you.
Not for your age, not for your looks.
not for the things that make you different.
Or the things that set you apart. Pursue me with a clean heart.
I gave you that heart to beat for me.
Because I love you. Because I love you.
Remember who I created you to be.
You're here for a reason. A daughter of the King.
A son of the King.
Beloved,
Beloved.
Beloved. Exactly who I created you to be.
What you do matters.